Stitchers!
Hi, I'm Laura.
And I'm Keisha, and we are the Pattern Queens, and welcome to Special Stitch with Us, episode 24. Today is Wednesday, May the 25th, and this is a channel about cross-stitch.
And friendship and rambles and silliness, and sometimes about me wondering whether or not Keisha remembered to look up what episode we're on.
I did remember. And I even looked up what day it was because sometimes I forget to do that. Not thinking that, hey, that's right here on my computer. So if you're new here, welcome. Every once in a while, we do a Stitch with Us video. So that's what we're going to be doing. Laura, what are you working on tonight?
I am working on a Quaker Christmas from ByGone Stitches. And I worked on this pretty faithfully last year, every month on the 25th with my friend Judy, who I'm using a project bag that she made.
Yes,
totally
perfect.
Appropriate, all those reindeer and the stripes inside. But I worked on it pretty faithfully last year and haven't picked it up at all this year. So I thought since it's the 25th, can you see the whole thing?
Yes.
Okay. I thought since it's the 25th, I would pick it up and see if I can get a little bit in.
Awesome.
How about you?
I am working on Citrus from Mill Hill, just this really happy summery citrus piece. And I put in the first couple of stitches so I knew where I was. So that's what I have done so far. It's really exciting. And you can't really tell, but this is kind of an orange colored perforated paper, and I'm stitching with orange, so it's going to be an interesting night. I wanted to start it in the middle so it'd be centered whenever I frame it, but maybe not the best choice today.
I was lucky enough to snag, when I started this, some Carrie's Creations flosses. And so I have all this gorgeous green. And of course, I looked at how much it said I needed, and I ordered that much and then realized that I'm doing this on a smaller count fabric, so I'm only using one strand.
Oh.
So I have more than twice as much floss as I need. But it's a gorgeous green, so I'm not too sad about that.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll find something else to do with it.
Yes.
So if you're stitching with us, let us know what you're working on. We always like to see what you're working on whenever you're watching this. And we also like to hear whenever you're cleaning your house or any of those other things, because I know that I have to watch videos sometimes to keep me company during those things. So Laura, on our last Floss Tube video, we asked people, what is your favorite summer activity? We got lots of interesting responses, you know, barbecues, bonfires. I just want to sit inside in the air conditioning. All good choices. What is your favorite summertime activity?
Well, I kind of think of summertime now as retreat season. So I think it's probably, and especially since COVID, when we started Black Needle and did online retreats, it's being able to sit at home and stitch with my friends on the Zoom call or on the messenger calls and just hang out and stitch. And this year I get to go to a retreat. So I'll actually go to 2 in-person retreats.
Oh, fun.
So that's even better retreat season.
For sure.
Okay, I bet our answers are very different because you still have a little one.
Oh, well, yes, but a little one who's only just now gotten interesting. Last summer he didn't do a whole lot. I'm looking at this and I'm a little bit worried that I'm too far over. I'm not certain. But well, I like to stay inside in the air conditioning, but I really like when it's time to go to amusement parks and ride on some roller coasters and do all of those fun kind of things. But for the past, right now, whenever we go, I've been a couple times since James was born, and it's just us riding on carousels a lot. I feel like. So
I can see that.
yeah.
We did order some chairs to sit outside this summer, so we're hoping to spend some time out on the back patio. And that should be fun. We have a little fire pit that we can do some things in and roast marshmallows.
Yes. Ooh, marshmallows. I do like last 4th of July we went over to a friend's house and we they have a fire pit and we did brats in the fire pit and then roasted some marshmallows for s'mores and had watermelon. So I love those kind of barbecues. Then of course our birthdays are in the summertime. So
Yeah.
I always have a fun time celebrating my birthday as well.
I always enjoy if I can get the family to go to a fireworks display on the 4th. I'm not always very successful with that.
Right.
But I miss it when we don't go.
Yeah. One thing that I really miss is before we had James, we had season tickets to the outdoor theater here in the city. And so summertime also meant that it was musical season. So we would go and we would see all of these musicals during the summer.
We used to do that too.
Oh boy. I think I have to rip out everything that I just stitched, guys.
Oh no, do you just need to choose a different project for tonight?
Oh man, potentially. I mean, it's always more fun to rip things out whenever you're talking with people anyway. So don't expect a whole lot of progress, everyone. But this is just part of it, right? We all have to do a little bit of unstitching every once in a while.
Right.
It's just part of it.
I have been trying to plan projects to take to StitchCon with me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I have come up with 6 projects that are going to travel with me.
Ooh,
not that I'll work on
exciting.
all of them, but I like to have options.
Yeah. Well, because you never know. Sometimes you pack what you think you're going to want and you just want to work on your old standby. I know that I kind of get that way sometimes.
I have some things I would just like to take with me. Like Life After Death is going to go with me.
Oh, nice. Yeah, it's
We
a little
all
bit.
work on
Oh,
it
go
and
ahead.
catch up.
Well, I haven't worked on it at all I haven't worked on my Death by Cross Stitch at all this month. But one thing that I find kind of funny is I thought that that piece was going to be just this big elaborate thing that I was going to have like a hard time concentrating on, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But I love working on that thing in the car. There are so many borders and just big chunks of stitching that being able to work on it and not think a whole lot about it is always nice.
I think I am going to get to drive a chunk of the way at least, because Katie's ankle is still kind of messed up.
Oh no.
And it's only a couple of weeks away. In fact, I believe that we will be there 2 weeks from today.
Oh wow. So that really is coming up quickly.
Mm-hmm.
All right, never fear anyone. What my mistake was, I had this turned one way instead of the other way. So I've unstitched and I'm back on track.
Is it not square?
It is square, but where I started, I had started it so that the orientation was going to be wrong. So I ended up with it like it was going to be scooted too far this way where I had started. So that's okay. It was only like 10 stitches. I've had way worse mess ups. So,
yeah.
So are you ready for some fun questions? I looked
You
up.
bet.
I looked up some and I was like, ooh, well, these are questions that we have not talked about before. Okay. So one question I read was, what dipping sauce do you use for your chicken nuggets?
I like honey mustard.
Oh, you're a honey mustard?
I
That makes
am.
sense to me.
How about you?
So I am a spicy mustard. Like if I go to McDonald's, I want the hot mustard. And that was a big thing to me. My parents, whenever we were younger, they would always get us hot mustard as our dipping sauce in our Happy Meals, which who gets a spicy mustard for their kids' chicken nuggets? I don't really know. I think it's because that was my dad's favorite and he didn't really have to think about it. It's also why we always all got Sprite to drink with our Happy Meals, even though we all liked different soda. They just knew that we all liked Sprite. So that's just kind of the sauce I grew up with. And McDonald's took it away for a little bit. And I was very, very sad. So in the meantime, I had honey mustard, but they brought it back. And so all is well. I just thought that question was interesting. I'm like, I've never asked Laura this question. And usually when we go out, we don't have like gluten-free chicken nuggets as an option.
No.
So I don't
Yeah,
know.
I really only eat chicken nuggets at home.
Yeah. So I thought that that was a good one. What other?
Okay, so far things look symmetrical here, so I think I'm okay.
That's always good news. Let's see. What is your least favorite movie? Do you have a least favorite movie?
Oh, well, it's generally whatever Jeff's newest obsession is.
Is he a watcher and rewatcher of movies?
Oh, yes. And like he will just watch the same movie over and over and over and over and over. And he has said to me before, oh, well, I just like to rewatch the movie because I already know what's going to happen, so I can do other things at the same time. But it makes me nuts.
Yeah. My dad is one of those. And what drove me especially crazy about my dad was he would watch a movie over and over and over again. And I'd be like, okay, Dad loves this movie. And he'd watch it a whole bunch of times when it was on TV. So I'd be like, okay, well, I know what to get Dad for Christmas. I'll get him this movie. He would never watch the movie he would just always watch it on TV. I never understood that.
Yeah, Jeff was obsessed with the first one I really remember was Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Oh, yeah.
Which should be a lovely, fun movie, right?
Right.
Yeah, no. Not when you have to watch it over and over and over.
There was a space of time where my dad really, really liked the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie. And I like that movie, but he watched it all the time. He also, when I was growing up, watched Top Gun and Heartbreak Ridge all the time.
I am not, okay, I'm going to say this here, and y'all are just going to like, I am not a Monty Python fan.
Oh.
Not a me thing. And
it's a pretty specific, I think, brand of humor, though.
Well,
that's an either you like it a lot or you do not like that.
Well, and that's another one that Jeff watched all the time. So, yeah, no.
I enjoy most of the Monty Python movies. I haven't watched as much of the show. I've watched some of the skits from the show, but I like it quite a bit, but I do not watch it constantly. I can see how that would get aggravating. I is it fair to say that my least favorite movie is a movie that I haven't watched all the way through? Because I have a couple of those movies.
If it makes you stop in the middle, that's it, huh?
Yeah, well, so a movie that I have not watched that I won't even really give a chance to, and I'm sorry if this is a movie that you really, really like, because I know people really, really like this movie. Ella Enchanted. I can't do it. I can't do it because that was like one of my friends and I, we loved that book. We loved it with all of our hearts. We would talk about it all the time. And she told me, she's like, you shouldn't watch it. You shouldn't watch it when the movie came out. So I was like, okay, I won't watch it. I watched a little bit of it once and I was like, no, she was right. I can't watch this. Because, I got in my head, I was like, Keisha, you really need to give this a shot. That also happened with Avatar: The Last Airbender, which is just famously a horrible movie. But I really, really liked the anime and therefore did not like the movie at all because it was not a good adaptation. That's usually what gets me. I'm not a person where you have to be 100% right on the money, but it should at least be kind of the same.
The most fun scene, I think, from Ella Enchanted is when she sings Somebody to Love.
Mm.
So if you ever hit that part, it's just fun to have the crazy queen song, and yeah. And every manner of being is singing it with her. So
see, maybe what I need to do is I need to gather up that friend who told me about it in the first place, because she was the friend that read the book with me when we were younger. And maybe I just need to watch it with her and we just need to yell at the TV and I can get through it one time.
there you go. I haven't seen it in a really long time and I've never read the book.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, there were some fun, quirky parts. So for me, because I haven't read the book, I'm sure that's why I don't have a problem with it.
Well, and even like the shell of the story is a wonderful concept that I think would, make for a great movie. It was just one of those things where I was warned not to, watched a little bit and was like, yep, you're right.
I think I'm going to have to get another piece of floss here.
I'm looking for another good.
This is a round motif, so it is really, really symmetrical.
Uh-huh.
And it's one that I have not wanted to come back and work on. So this is probably really good that I decided I would pull this tonight.
Right.
Oh.
Ooh, here's a good question. I'm not sure if I know it about you. What job did you want when you were a kid?
Oh, a singer.
Oh, well, that makes sense if I had thought about it.
That's what I always wanted to do. So
yeah. See, I had several things that I went through, but I think what I what I landed on, and it hasn't happened yet, but maybe, was a late night talk show host.
oh,
I was like, oh man, I'd love to give like the little monologue and then interview people. And I don't know. I always thought that would be a fun job. Of course, I never made it big. Never made it big.
I will say that once I started doing musical theater, I was like, oh, yeah, I would do this for the rest of my life.
Yeah. See, I can't sing. I'm no good at singing at all. I would love to do theater. But I don't know that I could make that like acting on stage a full-time job.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly,
it takes you really have to be somebody who's willing to go and hustle and
right.
find those jobs all the time. And
yeah. Honestly, I took an accounting class for the first time whenever I was a sophomore in high school, and I was like, I would like to be an accountant. And here I am, an accountant.
At this point, I would like to be retired.
Ah, same, but I'm a little further away.
Mainly
Well,
just so I can do more helping with everything
you're
Black Needle, and
great.
love
I
you
see
more.
you're a part owner of a cross stitch business. That's a pretty good profession.
Yes, that's an exciting thing.
Yes.
That ends kind of dark.
Hmm.
Keisha and I are loving this tonight because we have both been model stitching. And so this gives us a little break.
I have been model stitching like the wind.
Keisha is kicking my butt.
Well, I started before you because you were working on another model. But as much as you said that summer is retreat season, it's model stitching season for me.
Yes.
And for you too.
And it looks like you'll probably work on another model after this one.
I'm very excited about it. So,
but you should get at least a week break, I think, while we're waiting for things to come.
right.
So
That'll be nice. I'll work on ABC dinosaurs a little bit.
that's, I was thinking you would probably play catch up with all of your things. And
I'll have to decide. I'm going on a trip this weekend and I will have substantial car time without James. Because usually if we're in the car on a long trip, I will sit in the back with James and keep him entertained. But he won't be with us for part of the trip, so I need to decide what I'm going to take in the car with me.
Have to get things all ready, won't you?
Because I'm hoping to not have the model in my possession during that time.
Don't have that over one stitching to do in the car. That would not be fun.
No. It would look really, really wonky. It's already hard enough to do over one stitching on 36 count.
Okay, what do you have next?
Oh, let's see. I'm kind of going through. You know what I've noticed about questions like that I find on the internet is if they ask a bunch of questions about food, it's always, what's your favorite kind of pie? What's your favorite kind of cookie? And I'm like, I can't ask the gluten sensitive friend all of these questions.
My favorite pie is pecan and my favorite cookie is snickerdoodle.
Oh, I love snickerdoodle cookies.
And the melting pot does a gluten-free, they have a gluten-free tray for the dessert.
Oh, really?
Chocolate, yes. And it includes snickerdoodle cookies.
Ooh, that's exciting.
So yes, it's pretty awesome. The first time that we said something about it, I was like, I'm just gonna, I guess I'll just do the fruit with dessert because I'm gluten sensitive. And they're like, no, we have a whole tray for you.
That's wonderful.
Yes. I love the fruit and the chocolate, so that wouldn't have made me sad, but it's awesome to get the other things too.
Right. Well, it's nice to have something for you that doesn't make you feel like I can only have the fruit.
Yes. So what's your favorite pie?
My favorite pie. See, I really like banana cream pie quite a bit, but I also like pecan pie a lot. The older I get, the more I like pecan pie, and I'm not sure what's happening. I've been joking to with people that I'm just slowly turning into my grandparents because my grandma loved anything with nuts on it. So like pecan pie was her jam. And like the older I get, I'm like, oh yeah, I really like things with nuts on it. And then at work, sometimes we'll have food days. And so we'll have a whole bunch of things for lunch, like potluck style. And then you eat all that and you wait until like 2 or 3 in the afternoon and you have the dessert that somebody brought. And well, now I have to get a cup of decaf coffee to go with my dessert. And I'm like,
of course.
Well, that just makes me think I'm turning into my grandfather.
And really beyond pecan pie, there used to be a restaurant called Pippin's, which then turned into Tippin's, and
Oh,
they made Dixie pie. So Dixie
okay.
pie was pecan pie with a thin layer of chocolate.
Oh, a chocolate pecan pie.
It
Kind.
was fabulous.
Yeah. I have a friend who makes a chocolate pecan pie. There's also a place in the city that does a banana split pie that's like has some crushed pineapple in it and it's banana and chocolate and it's so good. If you're ever in Kansas City and you like pie or cinnamon rolls or pecan rolls, baked goods, Corner Cafe is a pretty good place to go. They have them a couple different locations in the city.
Did you say what your favorite cookie is?
Oh, see, I also really, really like snickerdoodles because I love cinnamon anything.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say we got a in the neighborhood now. I'm sure you've noticed this. We have a crumble cookie on
Yeah.
Antioch Road, and my husband got me a couple of cookies from there uh, this week because they have like a rotating selection that changes all the time, which is a good and a bad thing because there's always something new. But then if you like something, it's not there anymore. But there was a chocolate peanut butter one that I ate yesterday that was really, really good.
Huh. Jeff made some flourless peanut butter cookies,
Mm-hmm.
which would be fine, except if you know anything about those, there's really nothing to hold them together then.
Mm,
And so it's just a mess. Okay,
yeah.
this managed to tie a little knot on my floss. I'll just have to keep at the end moving. Unless I can scoot it up. I don't like having to fidget with this.
Oh, there's another question on here that's not necessarily a gluten food question. What is your ideal breakfast?
Oh, well, I am an egg girl for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I definitely like a good omelet. And we have been eating at this place that is new to us. And I've tried a couple of the omelets there. I always like the omelet with the avocado and cheese in it.
Yeah.
But did I get it? Oh, I did. But the other thing is they had one that they called a oh, I want to say it's called awakey, an awakey omelet,
Oh.
and it has um ham and pineapple, and then on top and cheese, and then on
Yeah.
top it had toasted coconut,
Oh,
which
interesting.
sounds a little weird for an omelet, but I thought I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it
Yeah,
one time. It is so good.
really. Huh. It's really cool. So are I'll tell you my breakfast in a minute, but are you the kind of person who will go and just be like, that sounds strange. I'll go ahead and get it.
I am a great reader of menus because I'm a really picky eater.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm sure that the now being gluten-free just makes it even more so. But I, as long as I read it and I'm okay with the ingredients going into it, I'll try things.
Yeah.
So Jeff used to always say, "Oh my gosh, you don't eat the things that I do, and yet your meal always looks better."
Mm.
So, oh, and every breakfast should include potatoes.
Oh, agreed. Agreed. Um, I am a how many times do we plan on coming to this restaurant person? If it's a really unique sort of restaurant that's known for something, I will get the thing that the restaurant is known for. If it's a place that I think I might come back to, I'll get the unsafe choice because I know that I can go back and then get the safe choice. Or I might get the safe choice first to be like, is this a good restaurant? And then I'll come back and get the unsafe choice.
Yeah, my Mexican food order used to always be a chimichanga.
Yes.
That was my measure of a restaurant. If they could make a good chimichanga, there was hope.
See, I kind of get on things that I really, really like at places, but usually if I go to like a new Mexican restaurant, I'll get either something that looks unique that you can't get in another one, or I'll get the sampler. I'll be like, give me all of the food you have so the next time I come back here, I know whether or not I should get one of your tamales.
And that way you don't have to commit, right? If you don't like the one thing that you got, you still have plenty of others to try.
Yeah, and then you have plenty of things to take home and eat for your lunch the next day. My ideal breakfast, I am also an egg person. Give me every egg. Also give me every potato. I really like a potato hash with just like a lot of cheese and veggies. You can throw some bacon in there if you want to, and then put like a poached egg or an over easy egg or something on it, something where I can break the yolk, let me break the yolk and mix it all up and just have the best time. That's my ideal breakfast.
I
And then
like those
maybe,
bowls too.
and then maybe give me a little bit of fruit or like an English muffin or something that I can put some jam on
Mm-hmm.
and coffee.
So the restaurant that we went to, um, I knew they didn't have gluten-free bread. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, just bring me the fruit. It's fine. And so they brought out the fruit, and it was sliced apples and blueberries and bananas.
Oh,
And I
interesting.
thought I struck gold because
Yeah.
normally it's melon and I don't
Yeah.
like cantaloupe or honeydew.
Same here.
So I was quite pleasantly surprised to get fruit that I actually liked.
Right. I know, because usually whenever you get mixed fruit somewhere, like you said, it's honeydew or cantaloupe, and maybe you get one or two little strawberries in there.
But they taste like the melon that they've been mixed with. So
Mhm. One of my great joys is James loves fruit. And it doesn't really matter what kind of fruit, but we won't let him eat blackberries because of the seeds. And I love blackberries. So if he ever gets a fruit thing that has blackberries in it, it is perfect. And Timothy will look at me and he'll go, James, that's for your mom. Yes, it is.
okay, so what's your favorite jelly?
Ooh, I really, really like blackberry jelly if they have it, a blackberry jam. Or, and this is very, very specific, there is this bake shop in Jamesport, Missouri, this little Amish community. The name of the bake shop is Anna's Bake Shop, but if it's still there, I haven't been there for a few years. And they have this red raspberry jam that every time I would go to visit my grandparents and we'd go there, I would get that. But if it's like the packets that they usually have on the tables at restaurants that serve breakfast, it's the blackberry jam, or I could be persuaded to go with a good apple butter on some days. What about you?
I love the blackberry as well, but I
Mhm.
also like a good strawberry, and I would definitely eat the red raspberry. I'm typically not the grape jelly girl.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd rather have a strawberry than a grape for sure.
And my father-in-law was the man who really liked the orange marmalade, and that's
Oh.
never been a thing that has interested me. So,
See, I'll sometimes, if I go to a place that has orange marmalade, I will eat like half of a biscuit with it just because I never see it anyplace. So,
oh, and the other thing I found out that I really like is lemon curd.
oh, yes.
So, so good. I love lemon. Um,
Mhm.
although I don't like lemon in my water, but I love lemon flavored things. So
Yeah, my at my wedding, we had like a sheet cake made for all of our guests, but the fancy wedding cake that we cut into, we got it was a lemon raspberry cake. It
ooh,
was so good. It was so good. Okay, let me see if I can find another.
I have rounded the corner. I am in good shape here.
Oh, I don't even need to ask this question about you. Do you always smile in pictures? What else are you gonna do?
um, about the only time that I did not really smile in a picture is when I joined thespians in high school.
Mhm.
And my challenge for the day, my initiation challenge, was to not laugh or smile for the whole day.
Oh gosh.
That's like sheer torture.
Right. How did you even exist that day?
I'm the person who gets the comments from her coworkers. I love to see you come down the hall because you're always smiling, you're always friendly.
It's true.
And I just
I
don't think I have a good serious face.
no, no. If I try to do a serious face, I start laughing.
Although I will say that I can pull it off. Like I have gotten the kids at school multiple times with telling them something, whatever I come up with.
Mhm. Well, I am, of course, a big smiler in every picture. Please take my picture. I will smile. I will show you all of my teeth, all of my very large teeth. Uh, and my grandpa used to stick his tongue out in pictures because he did not like having his picture taken.
um, I probably went through a period where I didn't like having my picture taken because, I didn't feel like I looked, I didn't feel like I looked my best. And
Mhm.
then I was taking pictures for my scrapbooking, and Jeff's sister, so my sister-in-law, was just, she would just grab the kids, whoever was with her, and we would take pictures. And it didn't matter if she had just rolled out of bed and her hair was everywhere, and she's without makeup, the whole bit. She just didn't care. She just smiled pretty, and I have the most fabulous pictures of her.
Mm,
And it really inspired me to just decide, it's okay. If somebody wants my picture, I'm just going to be
right,
happy that I'm in one.
right. No, see, and I don't put a whole lot of stock, I guess, into like, what's your sign? But oh yes, take my picture. I'll do a funny pose. I'll do a great big smile. What do you want me to do? Where do you want me? I'm a Leo, so center of attention, obviously.
See, now I'm a Cancer, even though we're both July. I'm a
Mhm.
Cancer, so I'm a homebody.
Mhm.
I always feel like that's kind of the mother.
Very nice, peacemaker, peaceable people. No, I always laugh because I very much am like if I want to be the center of attention, then you've got me on a good day and I will totally, what do you need me to do? I'm a great big ham. I don't have a whole lot of shame. I'll do what you want me to do. But sometimes I don't want the attention on me.
I think we've established I'm pretty friendly and outgoing.
There are some days where I have to turn it on, I guess, more than others because I am introverted, but um, I enjoy being around people and meeting new people. It just sometimes, depending on the day you get me, you might have to kind of coax me out a little bit. Which is where having friends like you helps because you're like, I'm just gonna throw you into it. Have you met my friend Keisha?
I am not a morning person, which is really
Oh,
funny for someone who works in an elementary school.
right.
But yeah, I'm just not. And I struggle with oh, you want me to make lots of conversation in the morning. My brain just isn't awake yet. And
Mm,
I just need a hot minute.
right.
So I switched jobs, morning jobs this year. I was one of the people who helped with breakfast. And this year, the people who had done the greeting at the door weren't there. And I said, hey, they were going to put two brand new people down there. I said, hey,
Mhm.
you know what? I'd probably be a really good person to be down at the door because I go into almost every classroom. So I already know most of the kids who are coming. And the ones who I don't know, I'm going to meet pretty quickly anyway,
Mhm.
just because of my regular job during the day. And so they did, they put me at the door. So while that may seem a little bit at odds, all I have to do is say, hi, good morning, how are you? And
Yeah.
have a good day.
Right.
So it's not like I have to have a lot going on.
Yeah.
I can take
Well,
my time and ease into it.
right. Well, and I always think the question of are you a morning person or are you a night owl? I always find that one that's a little bit hard to answer. It's more, have you had enough sleep? Then I'm probably I'm probably okay. I like being up. I'm some days I don't like being up early. Some days I want to go right back to bed. But I have no problem with being up early in the morning. I'm not a wait until I have my coffee sort of person. I know that some people are definitely that way, but I'm like, okay, I just woke up. Let's go. Let's talk about what we need to talk about. Let's get going. Let's get a shower. Let's get moving. Uh, so, but if I haven't had enough sleep, I am not like that.
I think we found another of my favorite summertime activities that's trying to sleep in.
Ah, ooh, I remember sleeping in.
I've never been a person who really sleeps in much. I
Yeah.
just I just don't. But I have really tried because the rest of my family can definitely sleep in. I've really tried to get myself to just go back to bed and stay there for a
Mm.
while.
See, and this is where my introvert comes in because like getting up before everybody or staying up later than everyone and just having that little bit of time just by myself where I don't have to worry about anything else.
Hmm.
Just kind of nice. Um, no, I joke about sleeping in, but every once in a while on a weekend, um, my son might decide that he wants to sleep a little bit past 8, and that's a real treat. I'm kind of looking forward to this coming weekend because we're going on a trip and James is going to spend the night with my parents, which whew, thank good thoughts for my parents because they haven't watched a toddler for a very long time, but overnight anyway. And so I'm like, oh, we might get to sleep in.
Which
Uh,
guarantees that you will be awake at 7 o'clock.
yep, yep, because my husband is Captain Continental Breakfast. If there's a free breakfast at a place, we are going down, we are getting the breakfast. So
Oh, and they don't really serve it very late, do they? In
not
hotels.
usually. Oh my goodness, my mom is cracking me up because she keeps just asking me questions about watching James. Yesterday, she asked if I just put a whole bunch of blankets on the floor and we slept out in the living room on the blankets, do you think that would be okay? Like, if you can put him into his pack and play. And he will go to sleep there. He might fuss for a minute or two, but if you let him stay up late enough, he'll just go to sleep after a few minutes. It's okay. You've done this. I have 2 younger siblings. My mom has done this. She's just out of practice.
Yes.
Okay, you want one last question before we wrap it up?
Sure.
All right. Well, we talked about our least favorite movies. What is a movie that you could watch over and over again and just not get tired of it?
Oh my gosh. You go first.
Oh, well, I was going to think about it while you told it me. Let's
That's
see.
funny.
I
Trying to think what there is that I'm just like, I
This
go
is
through
one-
phases for sure.
yeah, I kind of have a little bit of I watch a lot more TV shows than movies anymore. You know what I always think is just great fun, and it doesn't even matter what season it is. I really like the original House on Haunted Hill with Vincent Price. I really, really like that one. It's not even my favorite Vincent Price movie, but my favorite one is kind of parody, and if you watch parody too much, it becomes a little annoying, I think. But I really like House on Haunted Hill, which is funny. I don't like scary movies at all, guys, but that one just I enjoy that one quite a bit. I'm trying to think of other things that I could just watch over and over.
Oh, I thought of one.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so Katie and I just love to be able to sit and watch Jane Austen movies.
Oh yeah.
And we definitely have our favorites like Colin Firth and Jennifer Ale for Pride and Prejudice and
Mhm.
Sense and Sensibility. We like Emma Thompson. And why can I not think of who is in that with her? Rose from Titanic.
Oh, I know who you're talking about, but I'm not going to get the name either.
So,
I
and
did.
we just love those. And yeah.
Oh, I could watch The Princess Bride any day of the week. I also really like that.
See, that's another one of those that I'm still a little okay with, but that's one that Jeff watched to death when it came on TV. And yes, and I hate that because that's one that I really, really like.
Mm-hmm. Oh, can I? So I told you my dad had those sorts of movies. Well, one of my brothers had that kind of movie also. And we would just watch the same movie over and over and over again, to the point that we started a game where, and I remember this very vividly with the first Toy Story movie. We made it into a game where we would basically divvy out parts. So it's like, okay, well, I'm going to be Woody and you'll be Buzz Lightyear, and so we would say all of their lines with them. Like I still have that movie memorized. And whenever we would watch it, it was before that brother could read, and so I told him, well, we were divvying out the parts, and I was like, okay, I want to be Randy Newman. And he goes, okay, because he didn't know who Randy Newman was. So it starts, and I'm like, I get to sing all the songs. He was so mad. I was a great older sister, guys. I let him sing with me, but that was one of my better victories.
That's pretty funny. I do like to watch any musical, almost anyway.
Yes. Yeah, I love watching musicals too. What's your favorite musical?
Whichever one I'm in love with at the moment,
Yeah, that happens.
So I really like, okay, so I loved the movie version of The Greatest Showman.
Mm-hmm.
And the music in that is just so fabulous.
Yes,
But um I was in a lot of musicals,
Mhm.
so I've enjoyed that. I really like I can never think of the name of it. It's so funny. Good morning, Baltimore.
Oh, Hairspray. That's one of my favorites too. I was gonna say that was one of my favorites.
So
I
yes, I
love
love
that.
that. I mean, seriously, I enjoy musicals.
Mhm. Well, I was gonna say Hairspray, but my other favorite musical is The Producers. Have you seen that one?
Not for a very long time.
Well, and they had just like it wasn't a musical, and then they eventually turned it into a musical. It's a Mel Brooks, but it's about an accountant who has aspirations of producing a show on Broadway. And so that touches my heart a little
I like Phantom.
bit. Oh yeah. See, my husband really likes Phantom a lot. So we've
And
watched
we
some
did
of
the
it.
same local theater that you did. So we
Mm-hmm.
went and saw a lot of things. Like I loved Cats when it came because
Mm-hmm.
they really played with the audience with that.
Yeah, we saw that once whenever it came. Um, yeah, I've seen a lot of really good shows there. I'm kind of sad that we don't have season tickets this year.
Well, I will tell you that when Katie hit a certain age, we just started taking her too. And it was a
Mhm.
family thing. And they had at that point, you could go and eat dinner beforehand out there.
Yeah, they still have that. They have a couple of different like dinner experiences there. One that's indoors and one that's outdoors, or at least
Well,
they did.
I haven't been out there since they redid everything.
Mhm.
But yeah, that was always fun. And then Jeff's parents, his mom and dad and his sister, who was still living at home, also got tickets. And so then the six of us would go and have dinner together and then go split up and watch the show.
Um,
So
that's fun. I've taken my dad to a show before when they did Rock of Ages, and my dad thought that that was just the coolest thing in the whole entire world.
I haven't
And
seen that, but I bet that was fun.
yeah, it's just a bunch of 80s music, and so my dad was just all over it. And then I took my mom and my grandma to a few shows as well. But yeah, we're definitely, when James gets a little bit older and has the attention span to sit and watch for a little bit of time anyway, um, we'll get back to having our season tickets, I'm sure, because we really, really love doing that.
I even we got to see Singing in the Rain out
Oh,
there,
cool.
and they actually made it rain on stage, which was awfully fun. And
Yeah.
we had had some time beforehand, so we had taken Katie backstage
Mhm.
um, on one of the tours, and so she got to see what was going to happen, and that made it fun for her then to watch, to wait for it and watch for that.
We went to see we saw Mary Poppins there once, and Mary Poppins flew with her umbrella over the entire audience. And that was really cool.
I just always kind of feel like musical theater gives you such magic moments,
Hmm.
especially live performances, because you never know what's going to happen.
Oh no, there was we went and saw The Wizard of Oz, and um during this one, because we've seen it a few times there, during this performance, the house that gets swept away in the tornado, I don't know what happened, but it like started to come down during a couple of other scenes and
Oh,
just kind of bounced, above the yellow brick road a little bit.
we
And
went
it's
to, go ahead.
oh, and I was like, it's so funny. I mean, with live theater that those sorts of things are going to happen, but it was
Yeah,
pretty.
we went to see a local high school production of Hairspray, and they had a boy playing the mother,
Mm-hmm.
which I mean is pretty typical for
Tradition.
casting.
Yes.
And in one scene, they had been out there and part of the set started to fall. They just hadn't gotten it firmly placed beforehand.
Right.
So then they come to the next scene where the mother is out there ironing and talking on the phone.
Mhm.
And this kid totally just improvised and said, "Oh my goodness, did you feel the earthquake this morning?" And just had the entire audience just cracking up. So
Right.
it was good.
I love that.
I like when they can catch you like that and bring you in and have you be part of it.
Right. I love it when things don't take themselves too seriously. Okay, I'm trying to get this to a place where I can show it. Gotta go back and cross my X's here.
Oh, you have it one direction and not the other yet, huh?
Yep. So we're gonna
Okay, let me see where I am.
lead on through there.
I like to leave this in a place where it's easy for me to pick it back up. So
Right.
if I put in 2 more stitches, I'll be good here. Okay, so this was productive time for me because I made it a little more than a quarter turn around this thing.
Oh, wow. That's great.
Yeah. And I mean, it's not a small one. And I get to put my initials in this one eventually. So I worked on, come on, pull up around there. There we go. I was working on this and I started right about in here. So I did all of this around.
Oh, wow.
So
That's
that was pretty
great.
good.
Yes.
I'm really happy with that.
Yeah, especially since you said that's not one that you're loving working on.
Well,
Motif
it's just that
there.
one motif
Yeah.
because I've had such a good time with this, but I think this one has so much to it and it's so fidgety that I'm struggling a little bit with it. So it was good to get that much around, and I'm on the downhill side now. I have less than a quarter to go.
Nice.
So,
Well, here's where I got after the great
oh,
this
awesome.
debacle. I got almost 2 segments of an orange. So, like I said, unstitching is part of this. So every once in a while, that was an exciting progress. But
Yes, I'm going to sneak this in. Here's my other thing with this. Here's part of it. Page
it's
1.
across. Oh no.
Here's part of it. Page 2. Here's part of it. Page 3. And here's part of it. Page 4.
I hate it when that happens.
Oh,
it's so hard to make
one
sure you're
little
counting
motif.
right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'll hold this back here. I don't know if you can see, I know you can see my angel. So there are green, most of it's green, and then there are gold bits and red bits. And I took my highlighter and went through and I highlighted everything that was in red in orange, and I highlighted all of my gold stuff in purple so that
nice. That's smart.
I don't have to worry. I won't accidentally do it in green and then have to go back.
Right. That's a smart thing.
So, and it's funny that everything's symmetrical. I'm seeing this corner of the pattern, this page. There's one where I had to add a couple of stitches because they left them off.
Oh, that does happen sometimes.
So, well, I will be, after this, I will be pulling out the model. I'm working on it. I have 4,751 stitches, except I know that that's not quite right.
Right. Not according to Pattern Keeper, but with my, because Pattern Keeper doesn't really count over 1 stitches correctly. Based on my calculations, I have 1,961 stitches left to go on the model.
Ooh.
I don't think I'm going to finish it by tomorrow night. That's what my goal was. But
You can't just stay up tonight and finish that.
as much fun as it would be to go to work on no sleep.
And then try and come and be at Panera with everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but we'll see how much gets done tonight.
So you know what'll happen is that you're going to hit a point where you're like, oh, but if I just stitch these few more, then I'll have this done. If I stitch these few more, yeah.
It's the trap of stitching. It's the trap.
It is. It is. But we love it.
Yes, for sure. Well, I think we've rambled quite enough tonight.
And probably we got up to enough shenanigans.
Maybe. So I guess all there is left to say is bye, Stitchers.
Bye. Have a good week.